Have you two been playing with this? Taking turns scaring the wits out of each other? No wonder I can't get a good night's sleep. No, I don't want to hear another word. Now get back to bed, the lot of you!
Hi folks, I'm Ignatiy Vishnevetsky.
And I'm Alex Dowd.
We're here again this week at Farmhouse Tavern, just around the corner from the AV Club office.
Welcome to Film Club.
So like I said as we were leaving the theater, I sort of feel like this is the El Dorado, Rio Lobo, late Howard Hawks movie of James Wan horror films. I mean, it's all stuff he's done before. It seems to be just mostly a chance for him to indulge his fondness for this genre and also for these character types. Because he really likes these kind of kooky paranormal investigators, which this movie has in spades.
And 1970s signifiers as well.
And all of these period details.
This one really embraces that element.
Yeah, it's
that
like
we are making a film
London,
in the 70s.
Yeah, it's like they cut to London and London Calling is playing.
London Calling comes on. That's right. So the film is set after the first Conjuring in the later 70s, and the Warrens have just finished the Amityville case, and Vera Farmiga's character, Lorraine Warren, is sort of haunted by
a scary nun.
By a scary nun. A pretty scary nun.
As far as scary nuns go, this is a pretty good one.
Corny. It's a little bit of a corny monster, but
they're always. I mean, I feel like in these films, they're always kind of corny monsters.
Yeah. Across the pond in London, a family,
as they say,
a family is dealing with what would later come to be known as the English Amityville. They're dealing with their own haunting, essentially. The Warrens have to make the decision: do we go over in there and help them? We have to verify that this is really happening for the church to step in and help this family.
Part of the appeal of this movie, to me, is in the blow. Right, and you get this scene of him sitting and playing a song for the kids, on guitar. Scene is completely it's kind of cut together as a montage with other things, but it's a completely unnecessary scene.
Yeah.
But it's there. He feels the need to have it. There are these codas to things that you don't really need.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's part of the appeal. Maybe that's kind of where the heart of the film lies. You get the sense that the people making this film sincerely like these characters.
Sure. Farmiga and Wilson are both very good.
They sell these characters.
They do. I think a slightly more sophisticated movie would give them a little bit more interior lives, you know?
They sort of exist in this like kitschy, almost Big Eyes style universe. And you get these complicated shots. I mean, there's a certain degree of digital compositing going on in there.
Just sort of coming through windows.
They're traveling through the house, going through the transom. I mean, he does the entire layout of, before the hauntings really start, he, in one digitally stitched together take, he gives the entire layout of the house.
Yes, I love that. He does that in the original too, because he gives us the layout of the whole environment so that he can then use that against us later.
Yeah, so that we know where one room is in relation to the other room. So, because the rest of the movie is going to be them running around this house in the dark. I just wish that what Wan thinks is scary to actually see was as interesting as how he builds those scares. Because, I mean, his taste is like scary kids' toys. I just wish that what he was building to, what he thinks is scary when it's actually revealed, were as interesting or really as creepy as his build-up.
It's a common problem with the genre, I feel like, with these kind of haunted house movies, is that the escalation period is always more frightening. I think part of it is that what happens early on in the film is dismissible. You know, you can have characters convinced that what's happening to them is in their imagination. But by the time we've reached our third act or we've reached the end game, it's turned into a full-bore funhouse ride. And you're right that what the films ultimately show us usually ends up being much less scary than the sort of escalation tactics.
Well, you mentioned Cheap Trick, and you said it before. I remember when we were leaving the theaters, you said, yeah, it's Cheap Tricks, but it's like a symphony of cheap tricks.
Yes.
And there are a lot of very familiar devices, but he uses them very well, and he uses them kind of relentlessly. And he builds up to them for a long time. There's a fair amount of, you could say, Spielbergism in there.
Absolutely.
Especially in the way,
but
especially in the way he builds these early sequences. I think this idea of linking things together within a longer take. You have the camera sort of starting from the street and going up to a window, and they're good moments. They're effective moments because they involve the viewer, because there's something there's multiple levels of interesting things going on.
Absolutely, yeah. And the way that he plays with negative space and the way that the set pieces, again, make the camera such an active participant, that we're going to hide things off frame and then reveal them, and we're going to use the distance down a hallway. It's these sort of spring-loaded scares, it operates like a funhouse ride, but one that's been really, really well engineered.
It's kind of a John Carpenter trick.
AV Club favorite John Carpenter.
AV Film Club especially favorite John Carpenter trick in that there's a lot of stuff going on off screen, but he's using these, this is shot with very wide angle lenses. There's a lot of stuff going on with off screen space, but there's a lot of space on screen. You're getting, a lot of a room in a shot. You're getting a lot of the space around the character in a shot. It's not like it's all telephoto close-ups where you're just seeing someone's face.
Right.
And that makes the off-screen space even more suggestive because you're seeing so much within the frame that it makes you wonder what is just
what
beyond
the hell
that
could
boundary
be out
line.
there. Yeah. In general, I thought that this was a little bit less effective and a little bit less elegant than the first film. I think it has a little bit of sequelitis. Everything in the film is bigger, The set pieces are bigger. The running time is longer, The Christian element is, I feel, more pronounced in this film. These are very Catholic movies. If this is what all faith-based entertainment was like, I think we'd be in pretty good shape, These movies are about faith, and they're about if you believe in God and if you believe in each other, and if you have that foundation of family and faith, then you can defeat the evil. The Conjuring films have a distinctive personality, and you can tell that a little bit more time and craftsmanship has been put into them.